Twitter, the platform which is very dear to me and most of you, unfortunately, seems to be suffering of stagnating user growth and nosediving revenues. However, the one big factor that seems to be working for the microblogging site is Jack Dorsey, the founder and now its CEO as well. Another interesting and significant factor for Twitter is India. And social media analysts are of the belief that India will play a crucial role in defining the future of the San Francisco-based company. Well, joining me right now on the show is Shailesh, Vice President, Emerging Markets, to answer some rather pointed questions about the platform. Thank you so much, Shailesh. Truly a pleasure having you on Brand Equity.
Thank you for having me.
Shailesh, I'd like to start by discussing Twitter at large before I go into Asia-specific and India-specific questions. Twitter has a lot of dormant Twitter users. What are you doing to improve the number of active users on Twitter in the coming months and let's say in the next 1 year, which has really been one of your biggest challenges, so to speak?
Well, we're very pleased that we grew users quarter over quarter. We now share that we have 310 million active users. And beyond that, we actually reach over 800 million people across the entire Twitter platform, touching over 1 billion people with all Twitter properties combined. So we're very pleased and comfortable with the fact that we're one of the few global consumer platforms digitally that can reach such an extensive audience. 80% of that audience is outside the United States, so it's a truly global reach platform. So overall, we're quite pleased. That being said, Jack and the team is actively focused on 5 priorities that we believe over the long term will help Twitter connect with its audience even more, become more engaging, and hopefully grow our usage over time in a way that makes the platform more compelling for creators, for users, and for advertisers.
I'm happy that you brought up Jack Dorsey. And, you know, Jack Dorsey has in fact said this in the past, that in order to increase the number of active users, you need to get both advertisers and new users onto the platform. But having said that, the latter has always been a bit of a challenge. And really, I'm talking about new users here. The advertisers we seem to have spoken to, have a sense that because the number of active users on Twitter are not very high, the amount of premium they're willing to pay is limited, and hence the pricing power here when it comes to the platform really lies with the advertiser. Would you be in agreement with that?
Well, I think when we talk to advertisers, we're pleased by the fact that in Asia Pacific and internationally, revenue has grown dramatically and continues to grow. Asia Pacific is really the growth engine for the company in terms of revenue. So what we're seeing here in the region is tremendous revenue growth and demand from advertisers across verticals, businesses large and small. Today with the business, we actually work with over 130,000 advertisers actively on the platform. It's a tremendous number, and that's constantly growing. So overall, we're quite pleased and bullish on the outlook for the business. In particular, we're very excited about advertisers' use of video. Video in India, for example, has been consumed more and more over the course of the past year.
Right.
Video consumption in India has grown by 400% as an example.
I'm glad you referred to video, and video was really going to be my next question. Give me a sense about what you're doing in terms of your video thrust, because in the last year or so, the amount of thrust on video across social platforms is more than visible and seems to be clearly defining the digital future. So give me your sense in terms of what Twitter is doing to improve that.
Well, we've got lots of activity in and around the area of video. Of course, we have Periscope, which has been an amazing product that's transformed the way people think about video.
Sure.
Of course, we also have a product called Vine, which has really allowed the emergence of a new kind of creative energy. It's happening on Vine, and it's coming out of Asia. Huge pockets of Vine creative energy in Japan, India, Indonesia, to name a few. And then ultimately, we want to channel all of this new creative energy, these new capabilities for live broadcasting of video or the Vine style of creative, power it through the distribution platform of Twitter so we can reach the 800 million people that the Twitter property reaches today. So that's
right.
One of our main areas of focus. In addition, on Twitter itself, we offer brands lots of ways to leverage video at scale. The one that comes to mind is First View, a new product which allows people to use video to reach a maximum audience in a 24-hour period.
Well, that's truly a tremendous effort, but I really want to go back to the original problem, and correct me if I'm wrong. I believe a lot of new users on Twitter find it hard to follow what's happening on Twitter in terms of what to tweet, who to follow, etc., etc. What are you doing to ensure that, new users or even existing users on Twitter, just are able to navigate through the platform much more easily than they are finding it today?
And we've done a range of things to make that happen. One of the features we launched a few months ago was called While You Were Away.
Right.
That has received incredible engagement and really made the experience for consumers much more compelling. We've talked quite a bit about video, but more broadly, we also see that making your timeline more media-centric with images, with video, has also led to much higher forms of engagement for users as well.
Shailesh, APAC is a very critical region for Twitter. Give me a sense of how the region is doing in terms of users and ad revenues. And also if you could give me, a closer zoomed-in look into the India story. How is India doing when you juxtapose it with other countries?
Asia-Pacific is the growth engine for the company. It is the region with the fastest active user growth, the largest active user base, and the fastest revenue growth. So we really win on every dimension in the region, and that's why we're investing so much across Asia. We just announced publicly, for example, that in Japan, Twitter actually has a larger active user base than Facebook and many other popular consumer platforms in that market. India is the fastest growing market, both in terms of revenue and in terms of usage within Asia. So that can tell you how important India is to our overall efforts, not just regionally, but globally as well.
What would you say about marketers leveraging Twitter as a platform? Do you think there's a lot to be desired? Because one usually looks at marketers using Twitter as a PR platform primarily, and of course, coupled with the fact that they also use it as a grievance addressal platform.
Well, we think that the adoption in India of the advertising capabilities has been phenomenal. In fact, I would say that a lot of the innovation is coming out of India globally. We're seeing brands like Tata use First View, a brand new product to use video at scale to launch their new brand Tiago. We're even seeing the government, the Make in India program, use the first emoji, so a way to bring the program to life outside of the United States. In fact, it was such an exciting thing because we wanted them to know how much we appreciate their efforts to innovate and push the boundaries of what's possible on the platform and do it in India, such an important market for us. I look forward to reconnecting with you in 6 months and talking about all the new progress we have here in India with our new capabilities.
Sounds like a plan, Shailesh. And on that note, thank you so much for taking time out and joining us right here on ET Now.
Thank you very much.
Well, after all that Twitter talk, it's time for a shut breather. But coming up in just a moment,